ever get that feeling? You know, like you're talking, but nobody's really listening. It's like your words are just bouncing off a wall of, digital distraction. Kind of like we're all in this like, constant state of partial attention. Our minds are like just flitting between conversations and notifications and like whatever's happening on that tiny screen in our hands. Like, remember that time, right? I was telling this story about how I accidentally like sent a text for my friend to my boss. I was mortified. And the person I was talking to, well, let's just say they were way more interested in their Instagram feed than my, social media profile. It's funny now, but in the moment, it really made me think about like the importance of truly listening,
Yeah.
like being present in our interactions, deep listening. It's more than just hearing words, right? It's about connecting with another human being on a deeper level, understanding their perspective, their emotions, their story. And, it's amazing how much we can learn, how much we can grow simply by listening with an open mind and an open heart. Think about it. Good listening goes beyond just hearing words.
It's about being present, truly absorbing what the other person is saying, and letting their narrative move you physically, chemically, emotionally, and intellectually. It's like that feeling you get when you're listening to a beautiful piece of music and it just resonates deep within you. That's the kind of power deep listening can have. And good listeners, you're not just passively absorbing information, you're actively building stronger relationships, both personal and professional. People are drawn to those who truly listen, those who make them feel heard and understood. In a world that often feels increasingly disconnected, the ability to truly listen is more valuable than ever. But here's the catch: not listening well. That can lead to all sorts of misunderstandings and misconnections. It's like we're walking around with these assumptions about what other people are thinking and feeling without actually taking the time to truly listen and understand their perspective. And you know what? Sometimes those assumptions can be way off base. Something, I thought I had my best friend figured out. We've known each other forever, right? We can practically finish each other's sentences. But then one day, out of the blue, they said something that completely surprised me. It was like a window into a part of them I had never seen before. Made me realize how much I had missed by not really listening. And let's be real, social media can be a major listening trap. While it can be great for connecting with people and staying informed, it can also create these echo chambers where we're only exposed to opinions or ideas that already align with our own. It's like we're living in these little filter bubbles, and that can really limit our ability to see the world from different perspectives. So what does this all mean? It means that in a world overflowing with noise and distractions, the ability to truly listen is a precious commodity. But here's the good news. Good listening is a skill, not a talent. It's something we can all learn and improve upon with practice. And trust me, the rewards are well worth the effort. So how do we actually become better listeners in this, crazy, chaotic world?
Well, one of the most important things is to be present,
Yeah.
to really focus on the person you're talking to, put away the distractions and give them your undivided attention. It sounds simple, right?
But it's amazing how often we let our minds wander, or we get caught up in our own thoughts and we miss what the other person is trying to tell us. Remember that time I was at a dinner party and I was so busy trying to impress this guy I had a crush on that I completely zoned out during a conversation with someone else. I was nodding and smiling, but I wasn't really listening. Later, I found out that this person had shared something really important with me, something that I had been struggling with for a long time, and I had totally missed it. Talk about feeling like a jerk, right? It was a real wake-up call for me. But being present is just the first step. Good listening also involves asking questions, clarifying what you've heard, and showing that you're truly engaged in the conversation. It's not about just passively absorbing information. It's about actively participating in the exchange of ideas and emotions. Now, I used to think I was a pretty good listener. I'd sit there quietly, nod my head, and make eye contact. But then I realized that I wasn't really engaging with the speaker.
I wasn't asking questions. I wasn't reflecting back what I had heard. And I wasn't really digging deeper to understand their perspective. And here's another thing I've learned. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do as a listener is to simply shut up. It's about resisting the urge to jump in with your own opinions, to offer advice, or to try to fix the other person's problems. Sometimes people just need to be heard. They need to feel like someone is really listening to them without judgment or interruption. And that can be incredibly healing. It's like creating a safe space for someone to just be themselves, to express their thoughts and feelings without fear of being shut down or dismissed. But let's be real, listening isn't always easy. Sometimes we have to listen to things we don't want to hear. Sometimes we have to listen to people who hold views that are completely different from our own. And that can be challenging, right? It can be tempting to tune them out, to dismiss their opinions, or to argue with them until they see things our way. But, I think those are the times when listening is most important. Because it's in those moments of discomfort, in those moments when we're forced to confront ideas that challenge our own, that we have the greatest opportunity for growth. It's about expanding our understanding of the world, developing empathy for those who are different from us, and learning to see things from multiple perspectives. Here's another fascinating thing about listening. It can actually change the way other people communicate with us. When we're truly present and engaged, when we show that we're genuinely interested in what the other person has to say, it creates a sense of trust and safety. And that can make people more willing to open up, to share their vulnerabilities, and to express their true selves. It's like that saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And one of the most powerful ways to show you care is to listen. It's a gift we can give to others, a gift that costs nothing but can have an immeasurable impact. It's funny how we think of listening as something we do for others, right? Like it's a gift we give to them. And it is, yeah, absolutely. But here's the thing, listening is also a gift we give of ourselves. Because when we truly listen, we're not just taking in information, We're opening ourselves up to new perspectives, new ideas, new ways of seeing the world. And that can be incredibly enriching. It's like we're expanding the boundaries of our own minds, stretching ourselves to encompass a wider range of possibilities. And you know what else? Listening can help us connect with our own inner wisdom, with that quiet voice inside that often gets drowned out by the noise of everyday life. Because sometimes the most important conversations we have aren't with other people, but with ourselves. Like, remember that time, right? I was facing this big decision, and I was going back and forth, totally stuck in my own head, talked to friends, made lists, even consulted a tarot reader, but nothing seemed to help. And then one day I was out for a walk in the woods, and I just stopped and listened to the wind in the trees, the birds singing the sound of my own breath. And in that moment of stillness, something shifted. I finally heard that inner voice, that quiet whisper of intuition that had been trying to guide me all along. It's not always easy to listen to that inner voice. Sometimes it tells us things we don't want to hear, things that challenge our beliefs or make us uncomfortable. But it's in those moments of discomfort, in those moments when we're willing to face our own fears and insecurities, that we have the greatest opportunity for growth. So how do we cultivate that deep listening, both to ourselves and to others? Well, it starts with being present, with paying attention to the moment, with quieting the mental chatter that's constantly vying for our attention. It's about putting down our phones, turning off the TV, and really tuning in to what's happening right here, right now. And being curious, asking questions, seeking to understand rather than to judge, letting go of our own preconceived notions, and being open to the possibility that we might be wrong. Because the truth is, none of us have all the answers. We're all just stumbling around in the dark trying to make sense of this crazy, beautiful, messy thing called life. But when we listen, when we truly open ourselves up to the world and to each other, we create the possibility for something truly magical to happen. We create the possibility for connection, for understanding, for empathy, for love. And, I think that's worth listening for, don't you?